Hey, family, thanks for checking out today's broadcast. If this is your first time checking out one of my live streams, my name is Jonathan. A little bit about me and my channel. 39 years old. I'm married. We have 4 children, and I have been overweight my whole life. I got to a point last year where I knew I needed to do something because I was very close to having some health issues. I didn't have any diagnoses, but I knew that at 500 plus pounds, something was right around the corner. So I created this challenge with 2 main goals in mind. The first goal is that in the past, I've had a lot of issues with maintaining um, my focus on the weight loss and maintaining any weight that I have lost because I kind of let things start slipping back into my, the old habits that I had. So I decided to challenge myself to do this for 3 years, to do the live streaming and focusing on my weight loss and just figuring out what I need to do to lose the weight. Once I lose the weight, what to do to maintain it. And I figured that if I set a goal of 3 years, that would be one, longer than I've ever done anything by a long shot. And then two, long enough to do all of that, to lose the weight, to maintain, and figure out how to maintain. So the other big goal is that I need to lose a lot of weight. Uh, it's nice to lose 50 pounds or lose 100 pounds, when you're starting at over 400. Uh, that's, a lot of weight to lose, but you get to those goals and you are still pretty heavy and you're not there. But and I've done that a lot where I've said, okay, I just want to get down to 300 or 350 or under 400, and I get that goal, and then I feel like I can start letting things go, or I do start letting things go. And I'm still far from being healthy at those weights. So I set a goal to lose 300 pounds, so that when I'm done with this, I'm going to be at a much healthier weight than I started. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear your guys' non-scale victories. Any questions about my diet or dieting in general, I'd love to hear those as well. Make sure that you do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed to the channel and join the family. Click on that bell icon so you'll get notified when I go live, which is generally 4 p.m. on weekdays. Carrie's checking in saying hello. Hello, Carrie. I hope everything is going great at home today. Um, I didn't have a whole lot happen since yesterday, of course. But I did not end up working out. I was going to try to go work out, and I think I will be able to do that tonight. But I was pretty tired yesterday once I got home, and my feet were hurting a lot, especially my right foot. Just kind of, I'm sure from doing the running on the treadmill. I was actually talking to my brother about that a little bit, and he said that I might need to research whether or not running with barefoot shoes on a treadmill is good or not for you. So I'm going to have to look that up because now I'm worried that running with my barefoot shoes is going to be a problem on the treadmill. But um, the I was able to run better than I've run, more consistently or at a harder pace than I feel like I was even doing at the um when I was training for the sprint triathlon. And really for the triathlon, I walked most of that just because my feet were hurting so bad and I didn't want to do any more damage to my feet before the stuff I had the next week. And then, of course, I tore my biceps, so it didn't matter. Good thing you have those Hokas. Yes, the Hokas. That's an inside joke between me and Carrie. I bought some very fancy Hoka shoes, which were great. I do, they were really nice for what I needed them for, which was more of a therapeutic use than for an everyday use. But I did wear them for a little while, and long enough for the my feet to kind of recover, I guess, from the previous shoes that I was wearing. but that is a whole story for another day. So my feet were hurting yesterday, a little bit in the evening, a little bit of soreness in my muscles today, not much more than yesterday. And any soreness is focused on my left side, which is weaker. Like when I do that, I can feel it kind of, I think maybe you call it like the head of the bicep, or the part of the bicep uh, that is closest to the elbow, which is where I had the surgery. I had that tendon reattached. So I feel soreness in those muscles, but it's not awful. I didn't push myself very hard. I wasn't doing very heavy weight. I did more repetition than I did weight. So I am happy with how the recovery is going with that. And my right arm, I really don't have, it might be a little bit worn out, but not much. I was trying to do the weight at this, doing the same weight. I think that's what I've heard in the past with therapy, is to just do the same weight. And eventually this arm will get stronger. And I hope to go to the gym this evening. I think that will work out for my schedule to go this evening. I know Carrie's been itching to get over there and check it out as well. So we have to make sure that we can work that out. Let's see. I finished the book, The Proof is in the Plants, written by Simon Hill. I really enjoyed the book. If you are somebody who reads books, you might like there's a lot of PDF references that he makes, I guess, especially toward in the last chapters here. I felt like there was multiple times where he was referencing a diagram or a PDF. So having that available um, might help with getting some of the information. But I was able to go online and look up the information kind of when the book finished. He might have talked about where to look up this information at the beginning of the book, but at the end of the book, he did say, hey, if you want to find these resources, go to plantproof.com/book. And he had three of the references on his three, or he had four different references on his website that pertain to the book. One was about how to read or looking at your blood tests, like if you have your blood analyzed, excuse me. um, and then the other was about the food pyramids. I think the third one was the oil pyramids, which is interesting that he has a food pyramid that looks very similar in layout to the food pyramid that you're used to seeing. But like all processed foods is at the very top, like where we had sugars growing up. It's all processed foods. And then it's all, plant items below that, essentially, for the and then just and so he had that. And then one of the categories towards the top of his pyramid is oils. And so then he actually has a whole chart breaking down what oils he recommends over other oils. And so it's interesting that he breaks it down that far, because that might be what helps some people, is finding the right oil. I am finding success with no oil, and that's really a lot more common than I thought. There's a lot of Facebook groups and things that are whole food, plant-based, no oil. And I mean, it's not totally fair because I didn't really know much about whole food, plant-based before, but the removal of oil, that is a huge, the calorie density in oil is very high. So eliminating oil from your diet is going to just make your overall diet lower in calories. And so, but if you are going to eat oils, he does break that down into a little bit better breakdown. And right now I'm blanking on what the fourth PDF was. It was the supplement guide. Yeah, he has a guide to taking supplements. And I'm gonna have to look at what our like the B12 we take and the vitamin D we take and make sure that they're vegan. I'm not sure. It was not anything that I really would have thought of. I mean, I guess I knew before now that there is a difference, but I hadn't really thought to look. But he has a guide for supplements. He talks a lot about iron and zinc, and uh, I think he got a degree in nutrition science of some sort. So, and then I know he mentions at the end of the book that there's like over 1,000 sources that he cites. And so he has all of that on his website as well. I did check out the website and kind of joined the Facebook group, and I'll see if there's anything, if I get anything from that or if there's anything of interest um, that pops up through that Facebook group. But I'm happy with the book. Uh, it wasn't super long. I mean, it was long enough, like the Dr. Greger book that was so long. The uh tips he gives are good, solid tips. I don't think that there's anything that's too crazy. One of the things I don't think I talked about, yeah. So he discusses an argument for whether or not you could have mussels and oysters as part of a whole food plant-based diet, which was interesting. Or that if you were trying to go towards a whole food plant-based diet, that if allowing, if being able to still have mussels or oysters would, if that's your thing that you need to make you go on the diet or go this way, then maybe that's not so bad. And uh I hadn't really thought about it, but there was a lot. He talks a lot about the biology of the makeup of something like an oyster and the fact that they are unable to move on their own, so they have no ability to avoid pain, so they don't there's no evidence that they can actually sense pain, and there's all kind of in that they have no nervous system like like what we think most creatures of having. So, uh, I'm not gonna try oysters. The only time I've ever had oysters, I really didn't like it, so I don't have any interest in trying any of that. But he also said that those are a good source of some nutrients um, that you can get from like salt water that don't that you don't end up getting the trace minerals like the metals by doing it. So anyways, I enjoyed the book. I thought that it was a good take on everything. A lot of his suggestions or things. I imagine you saying woo about the not eating those. Lots of great advice. His 8 kind of pillars, and then he goes through at the end kind of things you can do to help. He's a big fan of smoothies, which I think if you're transitioning and making yourself food, smoothies is great. Batch cooking is another thing where you can just make something one time and then you have it for a few meals. We're that's happening less for us. Carrie's still making, decent size dinners, but we're sharing them with 6 people. So it's hard to batch cook for 6 people because then you're cooking a ridiculous amount of food. So um but if you're single or just trying this out, the smoothies, the batch cooking are great things. A piece of advice. He is um he just wants to push people to go closer to a plant-based diet. He's not, in the book, he's not trying to take away your food, but I feel like that is, it's an odd thing to maybe say, but it's kind of uh easy to say, like, yeah, go ahead and have, you know, plan on having meat once a week, or, like, have those oysters or those mussels, or do, make those exceptions, but eat plant-based 90% of the time or 80% of the time. I think that what the end goal there is that once they see how good they're feeling when they eliminate those processed foods and a lot of those things from the meat, that you get from meat and dairy and oil, uh, that you're gonna be reluctant to bring meat back in. Because I really feel that way, like, and that, I was so hesitant, and then 20 days in, I feel great. In fact, I was listening to my broadcast from a year ago, and I was very on the fence about the diet, and that if it didn't work, that I was gonna be willing to kinda change, um and it's, what I'm eating. One of the things that I said that I think is maybe the what I thought was gonna happen versus what I'm trying to do is the, um I thought that right now I'd be eating like a low calorie diet, that I would be trying to maintain eating sub 1,500 calories, or trying to make myself eat at a deficit. And that's not what I'm doing. Um, the what I'm more likely doing, or and what I've kind of wanted to do but never figured out a way to do, is I'm eating at, well, the last few months I haven't been, but I feel like this last few days, I mean, diet's on point, and I don't foresee anything getting in the way of that. But um instead of eating at 1,000 or 1,500 a day calorie deficit, I'm eating at like 100 or 200 calorie a day deficit. And over time, I'm going to lose the weight. And by eating at that couple hundred calorie deficit, then that's actually putting me in a position where I'm eating closer to my weight. Another thing he did talk about in the book a little bit is that I, living at 400, 500 pounds, you have to eat a certain number of calories to maintain being at that. And I'm still a very much a volume eater, I guess is what I'm getting at, because the I eat right now not much less than I was eating a year ago. Or I guess I wasn't eating a year ago, but let's say 9 months ago, when I was right on this diet. So um I'm eating probably the same number of calories as I was then, but my body isn't burning as many calories just to live, because I'm 70 pounds lighter. So I could, or the deficit that I was eating at isn't as great as it used to be. If I was at 150 calorie deficit, I might be at a 90 calorie deficit or something like that. Just because I haven't changed the volume of food that I've eaten too much. I The food I eat is a little different, and that's another thing that you're gonna run into, is that you're gonna find out how to make foods you like, and you're gonna find foods you like, and you're gonna end up eating more of those foods because you figured it out. There's dishes that um I haven't had for months now, and then there's new dishes that come in. Like last night, we had a dish that I don't know the name of it, but it was like these bow tie noodles, and it tasted very much like the inside of a chicken pot pie. I think that might have had something to do with the name. That's definitely what they said, or Carrie said that person who shared the recipe said like that it tasted like the inside of a chicken pot pie. And it tasted great, and I would eat it again, but that has got a sauce on it that we weren't even able to make 9 months ago because we didn't have the blender that we have now. And now that we have this blender, I have to pay a little bit closer attention to what the cashews I eat out of the bin, because and he talks about this in the book as well, that he tries to avoid snacking on nuts, and he puts nuts in his recipes. If he has a salad, he'll put cashews on it, or walnuts or something, but he'll he'll put nuts in his food, and then he doesn't snack on nuts then. And so that's probably some of where my calories are coming in, is on the snacking on nuts, and then also having these sauces that Carrie's making that are based, with cashew, use a cashew as a basis. Carrie says the recipe that we had yesterday, she did share on the Discord. If you want to check out the Discord, the link for that is down in the description below. That link should be active for a week. The Discord, it is called Creamy Vegetable Noodle Soup. And it was great. But it's on the Discord. If you want to join the Discord and kind of introduce yourself, let us know how things are going with your kind of weight loss or where you are at. That would be great. But yeah, that was a good meal. The kids were hit and miss with it. I really felt like it was just salt away from tasting like a chicken pot pie. Maybe a little pepper. Carrie said that there was not any pepper in the recipe, but as far as the ingredients, all the other ingredients, I think would have, like I said, it just salt or seasoned to taste, maybe. But I liked it. I had a ton of it, and I was disappointed that there wasn't any seconds. And that's having our kids eat this way is cutting in to my having seconds of these meals. Carrie said that she did also use a different noodles than the dish called for. And then, yeah, once we did put salt or more salt in their dishes, they did like it more. But yeah, it was a great texture. It was a great meal. I would add it to, in fact, that's kind of one of the threats we've been giving our kids when they don't try these things, or we can tell they're not giving them much chance. It's like, well, it's gonna be here in a week when we have it again, or that, if most of the people at the table like it and you're the only one that doesn't like it, you're probably gonna see it again. And most of the time, I think our kids don't like it because they don't want to like it. Is if they don't, like there's a color or a shape or an ingredient that they notice that they decide they don't like, or a texture they think they're not going to like, they just kind of write it off and don't even give it a shot. So, but they're doing great with it. They have been really sticking, they've been being patient with us, I guess, and really giving it a shot to do. But so yeah, so we had that for dinner, and I'm trying to think if I had Ezekiel. I probably had Ezekiel bread last night. I think I had it this morning. I I made a mistake, actually. I looked up the calories in an avocado, and I thought there were going to be more. It was, I don't remember exactly what it was, but uh the calories in like a avocado, it says 1 cup is 230 calories. And then I'm like, well, that's like 3 avocados for that workout I did the other day. Um, and so I don't feel so bad about eating the avocado, but that's not accounting for the bread and all the other ingredients. But anyways, The food, yeah, just we have mangoes at the house, so I've been eating those Costco mangoes a little bit. I did snack on the cashews a little bit last night, but not too bad. Not as bad as I think I did a couple nights ago. I had a lot of cashews. Uh, and the one thing that is nice, like the cashews are a little bit higher calorie. I talk about the kids eating our diet, and they do snack on things like cashews, and so they are getting a lot of calories from snacking on those. And they are eating food, I guess. It's one of those things where it's kind of a hard game to play with. We're trying to figure it out. So, um, but yeah, last night and then oats for breakfast this morning again, and just kind of a regular diet. It's kind of been that way. Or it's been that way for the last few days, and I'm gonna try to keep the routine going. I got one more weekday, and then the weekend hits, and then that's when everything kind of goes off the rails. We're gonna try to really focus on sticking to the diet for the next few weeks because I need to see the number go down. And speaking of the numbers going down, I talked about it yesterday, but I am going to bring back the weekly weigh-ins on Wednesday, so I'll be weighing in again next Wednesday. But kind of here, I'm gonna try to weigh in every day. There's different schools of thoughts, but this book here recommended weighing in every day. In fact, he recommended just to weigh in every day, and then at the end of the week, just take the average of your weights for the week and then kind of use that as kind of where you're at. So, kind of keep an eye on things by weighing in every day, but don't get too hung up on the fluctuations throughout the week. It's more of what happens on the week to week basis. And so, um, I'm going to get on the scale every day and just kind of make sure that things are going the way I think they should be going. And eating on diet and being, on plan, there's very little chance that I can be doing uh too much to hurt myself. I mean, it's a lot of food to eat. I do probably need to eat a few more leafy greens some days, but I mean, when we have salads and we do eat leafy greens, we eat a lot of leafy greens. So, um, but yeah, that's with the weighing in, I'm gonna start doing that kind of every day here, and then going back to the weekly weigh-ins. I think that'll be really nice through December. Gonna keep me motivated, and then I talked about yesterday trying to get to the gym every day. I did not go yesterday, so I'm really going to push to get to the gym today. I might not do much cardio depending on how I feel. With the cardio working out, I didn't talk about this. What I'd like to be able to do is get to a point where I can consistently hold some sort of running pace. I A lot of times when I'm training, like I guess what I did yesterday on the treadmill, and it kind of mirrors some of what I did while I was training for the triathlon. But I was running for a minute or 40 seconds or however long I could run, and then walking for a minute, minute and a half, and kind of every time I noticed it as my watch was, counting up, I would kind of do an interval kind of cardio workout where I would run hard for a minute and walk for a minute, run hard for a minute, walk for a minute. And I haven't been able to get myself to do like a sustained jog. Like I need to find a way to jog. Um, and I think what I got to do is just set the treadmill at 3 miles an hour, or maybe bump it up a little bit higher than that, like 3.1, 3.2, and just kind of maintain that pace, whether I feel like it's slow or feel like it's too fast. I just got to make it work for that pace because, uh, if I wanted, I don't know. I don't know that I'm going to do any type of activity, but I think that for my heart, like if I'm going to do any type of endurance stuff, if I want to do another sprint triathlon in the future, I need to find a way to maintain a heart rate and maintain a pace. That's probably the biggest thing, is just maintaining a pace that is above a resting pace. I feel like it's either doing nothing or full sprint is kind of the way things are going right now. And um, so I want to find a way to level that out. And so that's going to be one of my goals when I do use the treadmill in, the next few days when I get on it. But the biggest goal that I do have for going to the gym though is getting my arm rehabbed. That's the main focus. That's what, I want to do, some sort of exercise that strengthens either my shoulder or my forearm or my bicep or tricep on my left arm, because all of that is just weaker than my right side because of the surgery. I think that's going to be about all I have for today. I will be back on tomorrow at 4 p.m. So make sure you do check that out. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure that you do subscribe to the channel. Click on that bell icon so you will get notified when I go live. And you can join me. I usually go live at 4 p.m. Central. If you do have any questions, you don't have to catch the live stream. If you have questions, you can ask them below. If you just want to help my analytics, just write something down below like you're doing great, and then thumbs up the video. So all that stuff will help. But again, thanks guys for checking out these videos. If you haven't started a diet yet, get started right now. There's no reason to wait. There's nothing coming up that's more important than getting your weight and your health under control. Nobody gets to the end and says, man, I wish I would have waited. Everybody says, I wish I would have started sooner. I wish I would have known how great I was going to feel, how good this was going to be. No matter what diet they choose, once they lose the weight, they're always happier that they started than, and they always wish they would have started sooner. So get started right now with whatever you're going to do. Even if it's just making small changes, start making them now so that you can start making the big ones too. So you guys have a great evening, and I will see you tomorrow.